I was born in a town called Swindon in Wiltshire, in the west of England. Nobody ever stops there, you just drive by. And I wouldn't have stopped, probably. I just happened to have been born there. Anyway, we lived in... This Swindon is only interesting, really, because it's right on the edge of this landscape that's called the North Wessex Downs. And the Downs are these hills that roll away slowly to the west. It's a very ancient kind of land, a mystic sort of land. But we lived in the very last street in this town, and my late brother and I, we shared a room at the back of this house that had the most remarkable picture window, rather scary, where we could see the weather coming towards us as kids, and because the weather usually comes from the southwest, and then the most magnificent sunsets. And when we were about 8 or 9 years old, he was just about 18 months older than I was. When we were about 8 or 9 years old and really trying to grab music, it wasn't easy to find music, you know, in those days. And he loved Elvis and Bobby Darin, and I loved Buddy and the Everly Brothers. And we would dream about our heroes that were out there in that western sky. Because we didn't have any rock and roll heroes yet at that time in England. I mean, the first rock and roll record was made by Cliff Richard and the Shadows, really great record, and that was called Move It, and that was like 59, 60. And then, of course, the Beatles came along in the early 60s, and I was lucky enough to be in London and part of that sort of community when that happened. But until then, our heroes were here, of course, you know, and only 10 years after that, I was the one who was lucky enough to come to the USA and to visit Nashville and to go to Tupelo, Mississippi, and to walk in the streets of Lubbock in Texas, where Buddy Holly had been born and grew up. And my brother, he joined the Navy when he was 15 years old, so for a couple of years I had that room and that view and that picture to myself to get up to all sorts of naughtiness. That's probably the right word. For a couple of years as a 15, 16, 17-year-old, as they do, you know. So, but those years stayed with me, and that image, and it's in the title of our album. And this is the title track, and this is called The Western Sky.